Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good day, wherever you are. We are back again with Live Not TV Diaspora, and welcome wherever you are. We are here again, yet again, and my name is Bongi Tletness. I'm with my co-host Angel Bowe, and we are having the honorable, someone so honored and honorable by us. Actually, we are honoring him, and he's an honorable, and his name is Mr. Otunba Oyekanmi. How are you, sir?
I'm very good, and you? Uh,
I'm good,
yeah,
honorable. I'm good. And it's good to have you here on Clivenot TV Diaspora.
thank you very much. It's a pleasure
Yes.
to be here as well.
Wow. So we wanted to know more about Honorable Onyekami. What can you tell us about who you are besides all what I said? Who are you exactly? Just start from the beginning. That's where we obviously want to hear. Who are you and when did everything start?
Okay, my name is Oluwatoyin Oyekomi. I'm a Nigerian from the western part of the country. Um, um, I'm a public servant, the current chairman of Progressive Congress, South African chapter. I'm a member of the Presidential Campaign Council, saddled with the responsibility of promoting the candidacy of our leader, Shivaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I'm a businessman. I have a franchise in South Africa called Jollof Cafe, and we have branches in Sandton, Bryanston, Midrand, and Rand Park Ridge. And I'm a married man, a family man, and a father of two.
Okay.
Yeah, that's me.
Wow, it's good to hear from you. It's good to hear all the credential. And I know that since I'm also having the other lady who's my co-host as well here, Helen Lechotwane, I want to welcome her as well. Angel Boye, what do you want to say as my co-host today to Mr. Oyegani?
Thank you very much, Bongi, and good morning, Honorable. We are honored to have you in our midst this morning. Well, I think we'll just jump into the question. You being, you've just explained that you are a public servant and you are in. The questions that we're going to ask you, it's in relation to many things that you have mentioned now. I'll just jump into something that is very interesting to me, which is where can I start? I don't even know where to start. So let's jump into what has like a lot of people know that the people that are in government offices, they obviously there are policies, but we find ourselves there's corruption and citizen rights. I mean, how does that apply in the fields that you're in right now?
Thank you. Like I said, I'm a member of the ruling party here in Nigeria, and we have been in government since.
Because we know that has been, you know, there's so many people that have so many views. So I'd like to know from yourself, what do you think about what I just asked right now?
Okay, thank you. Like I was saying, I'm a member of the ruling party, the All Progressive Congress, under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, a man of unquestionable character, who was a former military head of state and who came to power in 2015 after defeating an incumbent president, Goodluck Jonathan. And he was able to defeat an incumbent president because of his credential. His credentials is one that is, anti-corruption, the one that is the quality of service that it brings to public service, one that is built on fairness, one that is built on accountability, transparency, one that is built on what true leadership, what true governance should mean to the public, to the people. And so President Muhammadu Buhari, who is chairman, who is the leader of our party and the president of the country, has a robust credentials of fighting corruption, both in the military and as a private citizen. And we are proud of our credentials. We are proud of the achievements we have recorded in the regard in with regards to anti-corruption war that we've led. We have an agency called the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Economic and Financial Crime Commission has today apprehended a lot of corrupt politicians, a lot of corrupt public servants, a lot of corrupt advanced pre-fraud practitioners, the ones they call Yahoo boys and 419s and internet fraudsters. We have succeeded in apprehending so many of them, and so many of them are currently behind bars. Because Mandela said something. He said, if Africa is going to be liberated, Africa is going to find its true meaning and its true purpose amongst the nation, amongst the community of nations. He said Nigeria and South Africa must lead the way. And it is unarguably that Nigeria, with a population of over 200 million people, must champion the greatness of Africa. And that cannot be achieved when corruption is embedded in our conduct and our action. So, hence, as a party, we hold a very strong view against corruption and bad governance, as the case may be.
Incredible.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Then now, on my side, I need to understand, and I know that people at home might be also questioning themselves in terms of foreign relationships. Like, what do you think about the foreign policy around the relationships and with the as foreigners?
Well, thank you very much. Like we said, Nigeria is the giant of Africa, and we have demonstrated that with numerous policies that we have instituted here in Africa. Currently, we are championing the African Free Trade Zone initiative, which was championed to advance free trade amongst nations. Why shouldn't Africans trade between themselves and be looking for partners in Europe, in America? And these are some things, initiative that Nigeria has committed to, and as a partner of the African Free Trade Zone Agreement, which we have signed, to commit ourselves to intra-African trade, and that is one way we believe that we can advance bilateral cooperation that is meaningful. And besides that, we also, through the African Development Bank, we have championed so many investment instruments that has been, different instrument that has been designed by this administration to support the African Development Bank, so that facilities can be made available to countries that are in need. I think what we must understand that Africa, we must be our brother's keeper, and economic viability plays a very important role in that regard. So what Nigeria is doing is to make sure that we support institutions like the African Development Bank, like the African Union, like the NEPAD, and other institutions of repute that can harmonize that relationship so that that relationship becomes meaningful. And besides institutional support, we also have country-to-country relations. For instance, South Africa, the Minister of Foreign Affairs was there about a few months ago to sign some bilateral relations to harmonize some important relationship variables that can deepen, the collaboration between South Africa and Nigeria on the issue of immigration, on the issue of corruption, on the issue of power, on the issue of tourism, amongst other key sectors that we feel will enhance that collaboration and that relations that we're talking about. And you can name a few. Currently, the president is in Sudan, where it's outside the country, where it's also talking about deepening the collaborations between Africans, because that is a very important relationship that we want to champion. Because Africa must be respected, Africa must be regarded. You can only be regarded when you bring something meaningful. And that is one of the things that we are doing here to make sure that that relationship, that bilateral relations amongst us is, empowered. And besides African relations, we also have foreign relations with the Europeans, with the Americans, people in North America, people with collaboration with the European Union. We have relations with institutions like the World Bank, like the IMF, just so that this relationship become meaningful and mutually beneficial and not one-sided. And so I would say that we've done well when it comes to advancing relationship and collaborations.
Wow, thank you so much, sir. I don't know what my co-host want to say, maybe more after what you've said, but then definitely everything that you've said, it's very important if you want to do something great and something that will be heard or understood by people to first build a relationship. So everything that you've said about relationships, that's how actually everything should go, because without relationships, we're not going to go anywhere, because relationships are like unity. If there's unity in anything, that's how things are becoming good results, and that's how great results will come out of it. So I'm not sure if my co-host has anything to say before we go to short break.
I think I can just add on what you just said with regards to country to country relations is extremely important. I mean, we are all Africans, and it should be easy for us to have access into our countries, whether in South Africa, Nigeria, or any other country. So I am happy that those are the kind of talks that you are having with our ministers this side in South Africa. So it only means that the future is getting brighter and brighter, and the relationship, as well as all the other, I'll mention other things after we come back from a break, because I think it will need a lengthier response. But it's great that this is getting driven in the right direction. It can only mean that things are going to get easier in terms of the travel, in terms of business exchange, and all the other things as well. Thank you so much, sir. We are honored.
Thank you. We're just going to go to the short break. We are still Afro-politics right here in South Africa, but we're talking all Africa, we're talking all relations, and we are with Mr. Honorable Oyekami. We are coming back right now. He's going to tell us a lot. There's a lot that he's doing, and we are already inspired. But right now, let's go to the short break.
Clevenard in Diaspora Television is an internet online TV service. What sets us apart is a unique combination of hit African content, first and exclusive international free movies, series, musics, news, events, documentaries, tourism, teleshopping shows, youth TV programs, and live interviews. Clevenard Diaspora Television is available throughout sub-Saharan Africa and to the diaspora markets worldwide. Take your entertainment with you wherever you go. Watch on your smartphone, tablet, laptop, smart TV, depending on your device. Watch free movies with Clevenard Movies Television. Stop searching for free movies websites and watch Clevenard Movies Television. Watch your favorite African shows anywhere at any time. Don't forget to check out our top 5 TV channels created to get you informed. TV1, Clevenard in Diaspora Television. TV2, Clevenard Youth Television. TV3, Clevenard Movies Television. TV4, Clevenard Teleshopping Television. TV5, Clevenard Tourism Television. To start watching, sign up at www.clevenard.com and follow the easy steps. Once you're done, log into the Clevenard website or app on your device, click on any one of our 5 TV channels, and hit play. We will be very satisfied and happy to welcome you to our team as one of our new business partners. Contact info@clevenard.com +34 631 279811. Website www.clevenard.com.
Well, yes, welcome back. We are back again, and we are still with Honorable Oyekami. This is Clevenard TV in Diaspora on Afro-politics, and we are live. And we are very much honored to be having Mr. Onekami to tell us more about politics in Nigeria and also in South Africa and all the things they're working on and all the things that are trying to change for us, for our good as people of the Africa, like here in Africa, as we wish that we could have great relationships. So we are actually having hope. And my co-host was saying something before the break, and I know she want to say something, and she want to understand something, and she told us that it's going to stretch if she said it then. But now we're waiting for her to say something. Angel, what was it that is so important that you wanted to say to Mr. Oekani?
Thank you so much, Bongi. You're amazing. I was just very happy with what Honorable mentioned regarding country to country relations. We as a people, we wouldn't want to just look into our country. We want to broaden ourselves and be able to either have businesses in other countries and or get married in other countries, or so that there is that flow, that easy flow of things. But it now brings me to the next, in addition to the question, how is the government, with regards to the economic and mineral control? You see, if I had to have a business that side, how is it going to be beneficial in terms of, say, I have a company that has to exchange, like import minerals to your side or either to this side. Is there the kind of talks that you guys are having, or is there or how can you unpack this for me as a citizen that would like to jump into that kind of a thing, as a foreigner, maybe in your country, or if I would like to trade in your country?
Oh, thank you very much. You're talking about international trade.
Yes.
Nigeria currently is one of the largest exporter of crude to South Africa. South Africa currently does not have crude oil, but we supply the crude to some of your top refiners like Sasol, like other major refiners in South Africa. And if I get my facts right, I'm sure that over 50% of the crude that is used in South Africa, comes from Nigeria. So anytime you go to the garage to fill your tank, I mean, it's one thing that we are, that relationship is producing, is that you're able to fill your tank, move from point A to point B as a result of that relationship between Nigeria and South Africa. And besides that, Nigeria is also another country where uh, the amount of foreign exchange that goes from Nigeria to South Africa by way of multinational companies, the multi-choice of this world, the MTN of this world, and to name a few. I mean, the last time I checked the Nigeria South Africa Chamber of Commerce, there are over 120 multinational companies, South African multinational companies that are currently working in South Africa and are exporting foreign exchange back to South Africa. So those are areas of collaboration or trade, as it were, that currently exist. And like a country of ours, you would also know that Nigeria is a country that that is always open to. In fact, some people argue that we travel so much that we overpopulate the country. That's to show you that tourism and bringing foreign exchange from Nigeria down to South Africa and other African countries is also very huge in terms of trade.
That's
I
true.
mean, a case in study: if a Nigerian is coming from Nigeria to South Africa, the person is mandated to have a minimum of $10,000. So that in itself is a money that is usually maybe spent in your centers and your malls and all that. And that, in a way, is also trade and bringing foreign direct investment amongst the country. And so, what am I saying is that, as it were, right now, there are opportunities that currently exist in the area of trade, and there are
Yeah.
more opportunities that could also, deepen that relationship. So, for instance, you want to do anything in Nigeria. Nigeria is a country of over 200 million people. Imagine you're selling, what product will I say? Say, for instance, you're selling one of your popular products. Maybe you're selling apple, for instance, or you're selling
Yes.
spinach, for instance,
Yeah.
or you're selling wine, for instance, which is a very popular product here in Nigeria. What it means is that if your wine is going for 100 rand and you're able to sell to a million Nigerians amongst the over 200 million Nigerians, so 100 rand times 1 million bottle, that is a substantial amount of money. So Nigeria is a very big market, that also a very consuming market, because there are different markets. Some markets are big, but they don't consume, they are not spending. But we
Yeah.
also have a market that spends, that buys, that is willing to exchange money for value. So it means that there are opportunities that can be leveraged on between the two countries and other African countries, and even internationally, when it comes to some Europeans and some Americans and some country in the Asia. The opportunities are endless, and we have a country that is willing to embrace.
Wow, Honorable, thank you so much. While you are at it, I just want to find out also about the resource control and federal allocation. What can you say? How is that? What can you tell us about that?
So the over 90% of the Nigerian revenue comes from crude, from natural resource, and which is where most of our revenue comes from. And there are some states for instance, now in South Africa, I know Durban is where most of the crude are refined. And so
Yes.
what that means is that it puts Durban at the position where it needs to create an enabling environment for the petroleum company like Sasso and the rest to be able to produce and feed other countries, other parts of South Africa, so that they can have petrol to fuel their cars and run their operations. So there are some states in Nigeria, we call they are the Niger Delta states, where oil crude is primarily mined, and those states then are giving certain, we call it 13% derivation, whereby the federal government has set aside certain percentage from the revenue that is collected from that mineral resources and is given back to those states to help develop those states. And I can give you a case in study. When you go to Northwest, for instance, Northwest is where most of your minings are done. And you can understand that when minings take place, they have an adverse effect on the environment, where people breathe, their land, their farmland, and so many other things that is disrupted, and their way of life, needs to be there needs to be some sort of subvention. There needs to be some sort of support by the government to the people that are making that national sacrifice. So when it comes to resource control, the federal government is is in charge of that. Petroleum and so many other natural resources are under the exclusive list, which is controlled by the federal government. However, the states that are primarily responsible, or the host states, then get certain percentage from the revenue that is collected to support those states' development, and as the case may be. And if I get my fact right, about 13% of the revenue goes back to those states for them to be able to develop.
Wow, thank you so much, sir. Angel, do you have anything to say? Maybe ask a question or add on that.
Absolutely. You touched on something that is critically important, which is the people,
Mm.
right? Especially you mentioned Northwest. I am from Northwest, and yes, we do have a lot of mines that side. And aside from mines, there's also people that are into agriculture and food. So in terms of Nigeria, how's the agriculture and food security on your side?
Thank you. Nigeria has massive arable land. Right now, about 2 days ago, the president of Nigeria commissioned a company called Immortal Rice Mill. Immortal Rice Mill currently has the capacity to produce the largest, rice in the world in terms of capacity. So right now, what it means is that rice is a staple in Africa, in Nigeria, for instance. And so, if you have a company that is the largest producer of rice here in Nigeria, in Lagos, what it means is that our government is trying to secure food in that regard, so that Before, we used to import right from Thailand, from so many other countries, but right now Nigeria, in terms of food, is self-sufficient. So through the Central Bank of Nigeria, we are supporting government companies through loans, through grants, to make sure that these companies are able to produce the quantity that is needed and even much more. And not only in rice, in some other sectors that are currently being financed. For instance, because of my work with the Bank of Industry, I know that there's a bank which is like your IDC in South Africa, where they support small, medium, and large scale enterprises. And
Yes.
through the government of Nigeria, through the Bank of Industry, we support very critical companies and sectors uh, where food is being produced to guarantee food security through those instruments of the Bank of Industry. We have another bank called the Bank of Agriculture. We have the Nigeria Export and Import Bank, that whatever is excess that is left can still export or bring some few things that are needed. So we have put in place major instruments at the governmental level to make sure that the food is secured and our people have enough to eat. And the good news is that you also understand that for there to be food security, there needs to be power. And right now, Nigeria, our president just commissioned a refinery that is the single largest refinery in the world, that has the capacity to produce over 650,000, you know, uh, crude daily. And that is the Dangote refinery, which is located in Lagos, Nigeria. So when that refinery is in full gear, it then means that the cost of production will reduce. It means that the fuel, the gas, will be available at a very affordable rate. And when the cost of production reduces, it also means that the cost of food will drop significantly. So well, our government is working seriously to see that we reduce the cost of producing this food, powering your tractors, the cost of fertilizers, so that across the board, people will have food to eat at a very affordable rate.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. And then what about tourism and culture? How do you go about that one, and how do you guys work around it? As we are all Africans, and in terms of travelings and all, like how do you do? What can you say? How do you work around that one? The
Uh,
culture tourism.
with regards to tourism, as I speak to you, our government was able to initiate a policy that says that as an African, certain countries you can visas on arrival. What it means is that so
Okay, we lost him. We lost him right there. Maybe he'll be back. For now, let's just go to a short break, and we'll be right back as we continue with Honorable Ayakami.
In the 21st century's technological advancement, we all seek opportunities to move and network with the emerging space. Introducing Clevenard blog and event posting. Do you think you have some interesting materials, good content, articles, and stories? Then feel free to publish them on Clevenard blog and events page, just as team of our writers are doing presently. By blogging on Clevenard's blogs and events, you benefit from our reach and network. There are constant stream of people visiting our social platform, and we have figured out just how to distribute our contents. This means you can basically skip the line and get access to a big audience from day one. Furthermore, we can help you get in touch with important people for projects with possibilities of translating your content into other languages and republishing them on Clevenard. This helps preserve and protect your content from getting lost. What's more, you also get to be part of our team with access to our network and lots of exclusives, behind the scenes information. And of course, you get full credit for everything you do, which brings you popularity and make extra income. Sign up now on clevenard.com and start blogging to your advantage. Please see the tutorial video on how to blog or post events on Clevenard Blogs and Events. For more information, contact info@clevenard.com +34 631 279811. Website www.clevenard.com. Clevenard, Your blogs, your identity.
Welcome back. Welcome back. You are still with us on Cleveland TV in diaspora, and this talk is all about politics, Afro politics in Africa. So we are having Honorable Oyekarmi, and he's telling us a lot about what's happening, all the plans. But we are still on the Afro politics, and also we want to ask him a question. Or we before the break, we asked him a question about uh, tourism and culture. But after that question, we want to get into the political side of things now, where he'll tell us more and a lot about what's happening in the politics where he is right now. But sir, continue please with the question of tourism and culture. What is the plan? What's happening there? What's going on there?
So, like I was saying, what our government is trying to do is to see that all Africans have access to Nigeria. Nigeria is a beautiful country. We have huge landmass, welcoming country. The people like to have fun. I'm sure you've seen that in your country. They like to welcome foreigners. They like to enjoy themselves. And what is tourism without entertainment? What is entertainment without cultural uh, embellishment? So what it means is that Nigeria as a country are wired to welcome people of different culture. And Nigerians are wired to ensure that when people come here, they have the maximum, fun by visiting very important historical sites, by visiting very lovely restaurants here, that we have here, by engaging with our cultural activities like stage plays, dance. We have so many brilliant carnivals here. A very popular one is the National Carnival. We have the Carnival. We have the Calabar Carnival. In fact, in Nigeria, from the first day of December to the end of December, Lagos, Nigeria is packed with different activities that takes place at the Eco Atlantic, which is one of the biggest investments of our government. And so what that means is that our economy is veritably ready to accommodate and to entertain people when they come here. And what are we putting in place? Like you are very aware, that our job as government officials is to create the right policies and programs. Is one by we are ensuring that we are funding the entertainment, the culture, and tourism sector adequately. And secondly, we're also putting in place instruments that can help people access these things, especially foreigners. And you will quite agree with me that visa plays a very important role in that regard. So, Nigeria, through the Immigration Service, is instituting visa-free, application or visa on arrival, whereby if you want to come to Nigeria, when you just buy your ticket, when you get to Nigeria, at the airport, you can be issued visas into the country and for a specific number of days and all that. So these are some of the things that we are doing to ensure that the right investment goes into the sector and the right policies that will attract foreigners and that will make access to Nigeria easy are being instituted. And lastly, I'm also very aware that there's a lot of collaboration between Nigerian tourism sector and the South African tourism department, which I have engaged them a couple of times. I remember there was a time we wanted to host what is called Soweto Carnival, where we bring over 100,000 Nigerians to Soweto to experience Vilakazi, to experience the Mandela, to experience the amazing sites in Pumalanga and the rest of them that were slated through the collaboration between the South African Tourism Department and the Nigerian Tourism Department, so that we can exchange culture, we can exchange entertainment in a meaningful way that benefits South Africa and also benefits Nigeria, and also helps improve our relationship, because when we know each other better, we get to understand ourselves even better.
True. Angel?
So we love the jollof rice, the Nigerian jollof rice. Just on a lighter note, so With the kind of population that you have in Nigeria, how is the health department managing? What are the policies that are in place with regards to public health?
That is one area that I would say that we're constantly trying to improve on because of the population size of Nigeria. For instance, I know in terms of land mass, land space, South Africa has a bigger land than Nigeria, but Nigeria is more populated than South Africa. So what it means is that there are more people occupying very small space, and that in itself has a ripple effect on the facilities that are provided. Our government we are constantly trying to put in place teaching hospitals like your Jobek Jane that you have in Parktown, like other government hospitals that are being built at strategic places across the country. We call them the general hospitals here, and we are constantly trying to attract very highly experienced doctors and nurses and physicians to come in and train, and not just only train. There's something called capacity transfer, skills transfer, that we also try to encourage through the uh, Ministry of Health. And I mean, a very good testimony to that is how we were able to manage the COVID crisis. Nigeria is one of the countries that managed the COVID crisis, that we didn't have to lock down our country, we didn't have to ban foreigners from coming in, but the COVID rate, the death rate of COVID in Nigeria was so minimized. And this is not the first time we are giving testimony to that. Even during the Ebola crisis, Ebola is even more deadly than COVID. During the Ebola crisis, the then government of Lagos State, through being led then by His Excellency Fashola, Babatunde Fashola, was able to manage the Ebola crisis, that it did not become a national endemic. The same thing that happened during the COVID saga. I mean, I was lucky to get into the country before the country was locked. And I also understand the number of persons that were contacted and died. But through the instrumentality of the government here, the death rate was minimized. Uh, Contact and tracing were very efficient. And we're happy that our country was able to overcome it. And we've come out of it strong. So our health service, there are areas to improve, but we can also say, pat ourselves in the back to say that we are doing the best that we can with the available resources in our coffers.
Wow. Yeah, so change is coming next month in Nigeria. So what can you tell us about that? Did you hear that, Honorable Ekami? I'm saying change is
No,
coming
no,
in Nigeria next month in February. What can you tell us about that?
no, please come again. You froze in between that. I didn't get the question.
No,
Clear?
I was talking about the change that is coming next month in Nigeria. So what can you tell us
Okay.
about that?
Amazing changes coming because I can tell you that the Nigeria you know now is not going to be the Nigeria you're going to know in another 1 year. And why am I saying that? Because Nigeria, we have an opportunity to be led by an astute politician, a technocrat of par excellence, a leader of leaders, a man that has demonstrated his capacity in private sector and in public sector, a man who believes in human capital development, who has built leaders to represent Nigeria at different different position. The infrastructural development of Nigeria is going to take a new shape under his leadership. So, Nigeria, we have an opportunity to elect my principal, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has demonstrated his capacity in Nigeria, in Lagos. Lagos is the commercial nerve center of South Africa. When Asiwaju became the governor of Lagos, Lagos was generating whooping sum of like 600 million. Let me use your currency, naira or rand. But right now, after his presidency, he was able to put in place instrumentality that Lagos is now generating over 60 billion monthly. You know, is a man who is forward thinking, who has, who digitalized Lagos, whereby companies that came out from Lagos are now in Silicon Valley, like Fruitaware, like Paystack, like Andela, and so many other companies that are, representing Nigeria in Silicon Valley under the leadership, mentorship of this man. So I can tell you categorically that there's a new Nigeria on the horizon, where fraud will not be a case, where people will not have to leave their wives in South Africa, in Nigeria, and come and marry women in South Africa because of livelihood, because Nigeria will be so good that they will
Wow.
stay with their family, where people will not have to defraud people of their hard-earned money because the job opportunity is going to be enormous, and where people will not have to leave their country to go and overpopulate another country because your country is so good. So we have an opportunity to elect a leader that is going to champion, a new Nigeria, and that is going to give Nigerians an opportunity to be proud as Nigerians again. And that is the person called Ashiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So my appeal to all Nigerians on this live program is that they should give Nigeria a chance to be great again.
Mhm.
And the only way for Nigeria to be great again is by electing Ashiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria come February 25, 2023.
Wow. And then can you just take us there? We haven't gotten there yet, but just take us to the whole event. What's really going to happen on the day?
On that day, then every election is going to be peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
I can guarantee you that, because we are putting in place mechanism to ensure that our security architecture is uh, is uh, is further enhanced. So whoever wants to perpetrate violence during the election or on or before the election will have himself or herself to blame. And we also want to also guarantee you that our leader, President Muhammadu Buhari, has empowered and given us the right money to the Electoral Commission to make sure that a free and fair and credible election is conducted, that is driven with technology. So what I can guarantee you is that in the next 30 days, Nigeria, we have an opportunity to elect in the most fair, credible election that has ever been conducted in this country. And Nigeria, we have an opportunity to elect a leader that is forward thinking, that is a diasporan like myself, that is digitalized in his actions, and that would help deepen our relationship so that the quality of Nigerians that come to your country will not be there to. You'll be proud of the quality of Nigerians you're dealing with, because they must have come from a more refined environment. And so when you meet a Nigerian in South Africa, you are very rest assured that this is a quality Nigerian that is not out to, to do anything, wrong or
Legal.
unlawful to you,
Yeah.
illegal to you, and all that. So these are some of the things that we're putting in place, and that we believe our government is going to get right.
Wow. I believe you can't wait for that. And everybody else in Nigeria, they should be looking forward to that. Angel?
I don't have a question for now. It's just adding on what you're saying, and uh, what you just said just gives hope for a new Nigeria, a new horizon. So I concur with what you said. Everybody that is definitely watching right now, they should replay this message, and as a reminder that do the right thing if you want a change that is right. So that is all that I can be able to add for now.
Yeah, but then with the government that is coming, actually after February, what do you think they will do in terms of old age protection? What are you going to do about that? Because I know regarding old age, some people they chase them out of their homes and they do what. But then what are you going to do about that? Or maybe in terms of politically, what else what is it that you think they will do about it?
Thank you very much. What I can say is that the person who is coming to become the president of Nigeria is a diaspora. He's schooled in the University of Chicago. He understands student loans. He understands credit process. He understands insurance, life insurance. He understands the right retirement policies. He understands the best global best practice. So we are going to have an opportunity to elect a leader who will be willing to replicate what works, what has
Yes.
worked in South Africa, what has worked in Europe, what has worked in America, and then is able to bring to place through the instrumentality of the law a student loan that will enable people to go to school without having to worry about money. It will institute policies that will it will institute policies that will uh, enhance insurance or insurance industry, whereby people will have very robust. Right now, we have very robust pension scheme in Nigeria, but we're also going to take it a notch higher, where people can guarantee that through a very robust insurance policy, uh, their retirement can be guaranteed. And we also have what is called the intervention fund of this present president, where we support the informal sector, because we know it's not everybody that can go the route of student loan, home loan, have credit. It's not everybody that can pay the premium for insurance. So we understand that there is a formal sector and there is an informal sector. And part of what we are doing is to make sure that we set up interventions to support small, medium scale businesses in the market. For instance, uh, it's not everybody that can own a ShopRite. It's not everybody that can own a Pick and Pay. But there are people who can own spaza shops, who
Mhm.
that special shop will feed the family, will send the kids to support the kids in school,
Yeah.
will support even the community. So part
Mhm.
of what we are doing is to make sure that we create intervention fund that can support spaza shops, that can support small scale businesses in location
Yeah.
in Alexandra, in whatever all the other locations and townships, so that the township
Yes.
economy can strive. And so we are putting in place instruments that
Yeah.
can help those informal sectors strive, so that they don't have to depend on government, or they don't have to use their children as retirement plan, but the instrumentality of our government will be able to make their lives sustainable through trade and other things that we might also be putting in place as a government.
Sure. And also, I want to know what is the plan around the strength of a currency?
The state of the currency right now, I can tell you that we are doing everything possible to see that the foreign exchange regime is regulated properly. We are going after illegal websites that sets, like aboki.com, that sets the parallel market rates that disrupt the foreign exchange regime of the central bank. Secondly, we're also trying to digitalize the country, because you have to bear in mind that when the country is digitalized, it is easier for credit regime to come to place. Because if I'm earning, for instance, 30,000 Rand in corporate, and that money goes through my FNB account, that money, I can show my accounts to the dealership. They can give me a car if they know that I have a job and I'm sustainable. I
Mm.
can get a clothing account from Pick and Pay. I can get a clothing. There's so many things. You can buy a house when you have good credit score. So what it means is that we need, as a matter of fact, digitalize our monetary system, so that policies that will help dealership, help real estate people make informed decisions will be instituted. And hence, we are one, changing our currency. In fact, we give everybody in the last 3 months to bring in their old currency and reduce the amount of currency in circulation, so that people are encouraged to use the digital infrastructure, so that their money can be traced, so that nobody comes to South Africa with illicit money, or nobody brings monies of a product of crime to your country. we need to be able to trace every money that goes from point A
Yeah.
to point B.
Yeah.
And that can only happen through proper digitalization. And that we are doing by changing our currency, reducing the money into circulation, dependency on digital economy, and then tax is able to we're able to collect tax properly through robust tax administration, and then the people can feel the impact of democracy, as it were.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Angel.
Wow, that is incredible. I mean, somebody might be listening right now, and most of the time people travel because they want better for their children. Is there something that around that the new government has thought of with regards to child support and protection of child rights, and also the education side of things? Is there some sort of change that is coming to make sure that if I then, as a citizen of Nigeria, decides to stay, I know that my child's future and their rights are protected by this new government that's coming to step in?
Thank you very much. One thing we are very proud of is that we are a pro people. We're a pro people government. Let me give you a case in study. One of the programs that I'm working on as the chairman of APC South Africa is to say that as we speak right now, if I marry a South African and we have a child, if we decide to register the child on my name, there is almost every possibility that that child might not have direct citizenship. So that needs to change, because
Yeah.
you need to guarantee the right of a child for the child to have all the necessary support, and through your grant, your grant systems and regime. And even when a child is dated in South Africa, that child needs to have some sort of citizenship, because by birth he is a product of South Africa. So these are some of the things that I am working on, even in South Africa, to make sure that Nigerian kids born from a South African Nigerian relationship, or born from a Nigerian relationship but dated in South Africa, his rights are protected. And that shows you the quality of presidents that are coming into power in the next few months. Is that we understand the right of a child. We understand that a child must be protected. We are putting in place grants that will guarantee that there is free education. In fact, in Lagos State, our government was one of the first governments that introduced what is called free education. So, for instance, in Nigeria, before now, people will pay for matric to write their final exam. In matric, they pay a stipulated amount of money. But our government made matric fee free for everybody, both in private and public schools. This is one of the instrumentalities of putting in place to make sure that the child has quality education. And we're also going to the position of ensuring that we have something called the school feeding program, where children in schools are given lunch and even breakfast. So if you come to Nigeria right now, you're a child, you are not only not you only not you're not paying for your school, you're not paying school fees, you're supported with educational materials like textbooks, notepads, pen, and all that, and you're also fed in school. A meal, a breakfast, and a lunch is given to you in school,
Yeah.
all supported by our government, to make sure that our kids have the enabling environments to learn. And when they're in school, they don't have to worry about school fees, about textbooks, about food. Just come to school, bring yourself, submit yourself to the authority, and learn. And we take care of every other thing. So we are putting in place, home and abroad, instrumentalities that will protect every Nigerian child, and to get so that their future is guaranteed, education is sacrosanct, and they grow up to be quality-minded people who will come to South Africa and find a beautiful woman, marry, raise a family, and be responsible citizens of that country. And because when you don't educate children properly, the adverse effect is that they travel to other countries and become nuisance. So we cannot joke with the future of our country and this investment by our government.
Oh, we are so honored and we are so happy to hear all the changes that are coming in Nigeria. And we are proud. We are proud that we've been having people on the side and putting things together from Nigeria about Nigeria. But right now, we just want to say thank you so much, sir, for coming and addressing your people or our people about everything that is happening and that is still to happen, all the good changes that you are implementing. Thank you so much. And just want to say we are so honored to have been having you here on Clipart TV Diaspora, Afro Politics. And I don't know if maybe my co-host want to say something, just the last word. Angel, the last word to Honorable, yeah, Mr. Onyekami.
Honorable, it's been an honor to have you here. I actually have learned a lot from what you have shared with us, and we don't take your time for granted. We are so thankful that you made time to be part of this and for allowing us to be able to put you a little bit under the radar and ask you all that we would want to ask with regards to getting clarity about what tomorrow looks like in Nigeria. We are very honored. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. We are really really honored, as we said, and thank you for everything that you've been doing. Because we are Africans, and we are happy to hear another country in Africa that is having changes. It excites all of us, and we are so honored. And we just want to say goodbye for now. And we know that we're gonna hear more, and we're gonna follow up on Nigeria and with all the good things that are coming. Goodbye, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I'm so happy to be with you,
Thank
and
you.
it's an honor to have this chat with you to tell you what we're doing, what our government is doing, and what we plan to do for Nigerians and for Africa. Like I repeat again, Mandela said, Africa, South Africa, and Nigeria must lead the way for Africa to be liberated. And we are ready to take up that leadership. Thank you, and please vote for my party on February 25, 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It's a goodbye from us. We are Cleveland TV Diaspora, and this was Afro Politics. And we had Mr. Onyekami, who's telling us more about Africa. But goodbye for now.
Thank you.
Okay, goodbye.
Thank you.